the drift community seems so like all over the place right now. It seems like very what was the word I was thinking of? Just like disenfranchised.
So I was thinking about
for competition, for competitive drifting.
Competition.
Like you build that Corvette, and it's like,
yeah, I don't have any. Like, I really don't have any play. I was thinking about this on the way down here. So it's kind of an interesting time in drifting because like I've been drifting since 2010, 2011, and it's like for me this is like a great time. But like for the people who just started, they don't really know any different. So on the comp side, it kind of sucks because we had a big spike with clutch kickers. And like clutch kickers took off, they had a ton of momentum, and then like all these other series started popping up. And it was the first time where you could go compete with pro guys, pro spec guys, crazy good grassroots guys without having to do the ladder of pro-am, pro spec, pro one, because that's how it normally go. You go to pro-am, I think top 3 get their license. It depends. This last pro-am, I'm not going to name names, but a pro-am that not very good. They said top 3 got licenses, and then at the end of the year, they're like, just kidding, it's only one of you. After all these people competed all year.
So they spent all the money, and Pro-Am is the traveling deal where you're in you kind of follow FD circuit.
No, that's Pro Spec.
Okay,
so Pro-Am was more local, which we haven't really had a good one in Florida in a long time. And then if you do good in Pro Spec, then you filter to, or Pro-Am, then you filter to Pro Spec, which used to be Pro 2. Mm-hmm. Now it's Pro Spec, which I have some opinions on that, but... and then Pro Spec is 4 rounds of 8 of the FD. So you're at the FD tracks with FD, and then from there you get to Pro 1. And there's people who petition into Pro Spec. There's people who petition into Pro 1, you know, from other countries. Like if you're from Japan and you're going to bring your whole program over here, it'd be kind of tough for you to do it just to run Pro Spec. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so they'll let some people in for specific reasons.
Right. Like if someone is the champion in Ireland, like James Dean, they come over and they can do it. So there's that ladder, but the clutch kickers existed outside of that ladder, and it was the first time ever, and it was awesome, and like it was so good, and it was
big
just
money. Yeah,
the big money was, you know, I mean the money was cool, but for me it was more so like the big money comps always bring out good drivers, right? Like it brings out the guys with the crazy cars who are willing to spend a bunch of money to be there if there's a chance they can win money. For me, my whole drive was just being able to compete against those guys. So it was great, and it was just growing so fast, and it had gained a lot of respect as like being very challenging. Mm-hmm. And then it just kind of fell off, and then as it fell off, the rest of them did too. Because there had been a bunch that had popped up all over the country, and it was like almost too much too fast, you know? Yep. There's a bunch of 10Ks popping up, then the Riverside 50Ks.
But that's weird, like, those popped up alongside of it, but how did they fall off if Klutch, like, you know what I mean? They should have been able to stand on their own 2 feet,
right?
Which is weird, and that's why I felt disenfranchised all of a sudden, because it was almost like it was really bubbling up, and then...
The bubble popped.
The disappearance of one track in the country kind of popped the whole bubble. Yeah. Which is so weird.
I think Riverside, and they're a great group of guys, and they did a really good job with their event. It was one of the best events. Every comp I've ever driven, you end up there way later than you're supposed to be. Like it never ends on time. They ended early. That was the first comp I've ever done. They ended early. And the biggest reason is they said no protests. And I hate protests. I've been comp drifting for like 5 years now, and I've never, ever protested. There's times where I've wanted to, but it's like, there's a lot of drivers that don't see both sides, right? Like they'll get the bad side of a deal and the bad side of a call. It's marginal, but they're on the bad side. But then they'll be on the good side of a call, and they don't notice those times. And it's like, it evens out, dude. The judges... You see every series, everyone hates the judges. These judges suck. And it's like, dude, if every series the judges suck, then obviously it's not the judge's fault. You know, it's what we're dealing with.
Well,
here.
When you pay your entry fee, you basically accept their terms of how the event is going to run.
Right.
And that's just what you have to accept. Like you can't protest after you've already accepted the terms of agreement to competition, and these 3-4 judges decide the fate.
Right. It's like if the decision took them 10 minutes, like obviously they've already looked at everything.
Yeah.
And I've been protested against a couple times on technicalities where like I won the battle hands down, but they're like, oh, did he put 2 tires in the grass here? Even though he won.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't like technicalities. I don't like hard and fast zeros, which that's a whole nother topic. But FD this year, I won't go too deep into detail for the people who aren't into drifting, but they changed the rule a little bit on straightening to where it used to be if your wheels all 4 were pointed straight at any point in time, it's a 0. And if you get a 0, it doesn't matter if the other dude was 30 car lengths behind you. Yeah. If he completed 2 laps, he wins. And what you see happen is the worst driver can move on in those scenarios because, like, this dude just bosses him the whole battle, and then he has a tiny bobble, and then he gets a 0.
So there's plenty of times where, you see them straighten out to catch up.
Right.
Like, they lost a little momentum somehow because, even the lead driver can cause the follow driver to have to slow down because they did something wrong, and then you have to catch back up.
Right. And there's a whole... It gets deep on that, the lead driver thing. It used to be when I started watching FD, like, if you hit the lead driver, it was always your fault. Whereas then they flipped to where it was like, anytime the lead driver got hit, it's like, oh, well, the smoke trail dissipated a little bit, so they let off throttle, and it's their fault. And it's like, at some point, you've got to put responsibility on the follow driver to follow the lead car. You can't just do a lead run behind them, and if they feather the throttle for a second, you hit them, So there's a lot there, but I think that rule is good because you could have a little bobble and what's straight? You could be 4-wheel sliding with your wheels pointed straight, or you could have your wheels turned and be straight, So it's like,
your car could be fully going backwards with your, like reverse entry type of thing, like
and your wheels point
entry
straight
you've ever seen, and the wheels end up straight for a second.
Right. So then that's a 0. And I mean, I did lose at this Pro-Am because of that for that exact reason. Like I had won the battle, hands down, but I had a tiny little bobble. I thought the guy was going to transition, so I started to, and I realized he wasn't. So when I corrected to put angle in it, that correction, my wheels were like, ding, and then I got a 0.
I will say, being a judge for any drift event sounds horrible.
Horrible. That's why I don't
like the
complain.
Worst job.
That is why I don't complain about the judges, because I'm like, that job sucks. Yeah. It is a thankless job. Someone's going to hate you at the end of it. No matter how you do it, someone's going to hate you.
Yeah. If you do your job correctly, 100%, somebody should hate you probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if you're perfect, you made every call right, someone will likely hate you.
Right. Absolutely. There's always going to be someone who feels like disenfranchised by it.
And that's always the crutch of any judge sport, unfortunately.
Yep. I know. And I didn't want to comp drift for a long time because of that. And I just kind of fell into it. Like I didn't really mean to start competing. It just kind of happened. And I don't know. I have a love-hate with it.
But that's weird in itself, is the amount of drifters that are good, really good drifters. I think if Adam was the same way, was like, I don't care about competition. That's weird to me because with my drag car, I only care about competition.
Right, it's only comp. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to just go make a pass solo with no guy in the other lane like that.
Right. But that's
you guys can have fun.
Yeah.
With just your friend. Guys, thank you for tuning in to the Bogetti Clips YouTube channel. For the full podcast, check us out on Bogetti Studios YouTube and all your audio platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of the new Bogetti clips coming up.